Yo, yo, yo.
So, has USADA stopped by for the extra tests yet? I see you
Oh,
posting pictures like that.
I'm not staying at the fighter hotel, so I'm dodging them, hiding under the ring, you know.
I love it. Well, listen, I know this wasn't is anticipated to be a main event, but it is a main event now. I guess what's the feel ahead of being the headliner again?
Excitement. You know, it's been a long time since I was able to do it for the first time, and that was also kind of last minute. But just the fact that I get to sign posters with my name on it again, I get to right some wrongs from that night. I really feel like that fight could have been mine definitively. And I've been working towards being a better fighter since that last main event. So I don't know. It feels like a full circle moment, and I really feel like it's gonna be my night to put on the show.
Was there anything you took out of the experience? Because we wonder, like, is there added pressure? Just, I mean, even if it's just within yourself, not that anything puts on you, you know what I mean? But you feel like you got to do something extra special. I mean, was that a reality? And is there anything you took out of that experience?
Just being the main event
Yeah.
from the last one.
Yep.
Uh, no, I don't think so. I think it was a rough one because I did a Black Lives Matter piece with ESPN coming up to that fight, and I literally had to stay off of my phone for 2 weeks because, the internet is gonna internet. So I felt like there was a little bit of pressure with that, and I don't know. I felt like I had the fight right there, and then I hesitated a little bit, and it cost me a couple rounds. And ever since that fight, I've just been working on not being afraid to go to the ground, like not making it like the floor is lava. Kind of. That's what every fight camp had been up to that point. Don't let her take you down. Don't let her take you down. Well, this is the ultimate. Don't let her take you down. But I'm like, if she takes me down, I'll get up. I could defend a choke for a couple minutes. I'll be all right. So I really feel like fights like that, fights like my one against Vienna, have just made me answer those weaknesses that I have in my fight game and become a much stronger fighter everywhere, especially on the ground.
Right. But so when they give you the matchup, is there any part of you that's like, oh, come on, like I got to do this again? Or do you almost welcome that, like, oh, this is my chance to prove that I can go, against this type of grappling specialist?
Well, I mean, you see her striking, you can kind of see why I was excited. I think I probably did the same thing that she did when she's like, oh, well, if you see her grappling, I'm like, ooh, there's a lot I can do with the way she comes forward, with the way she doesn't care about her chin being thrown in the air. So there's a lot of areas that I feel like I can capitalize on, and I don't feel like she has as many opportunities to capitalize on my mistakes. And I've just been working really hard at fixing them, and I don't feel like she's been fixing hers. She's just been trying to do more jiu-jitsu. So if anything, I think fight IQ wise, I think my experience in there and being put up against the tough grapplers my entire career has prepared me for this.
So at this point in your career, do you like specialize anything in training camp? Like when the matchup comes around, you're like, well, we got to do even more jiu-jitsu than we were doing? Or is it more like, let's just focus on doing what we do best?
I was already doing a lot of jiu-jitsu after the Vienna fight, even and before that, but I just wanted to really get to the bottom of why I couldn't get out of certain positions. And I went and competed a bit, and I started to see a pattern of, oh, okay, I just need a couple more escapes. I just need to be a little more aggressive with this and that. And a lot of the escapes that you have in MMA don't work against high-level jiu-jitsu people. You have to learn high-level jiu-jitsu to fight a high-level jiu-jitsu fighter. So that's what I've been doing, and I really just feel like, man, I feel like I'm getting leaps and bounds better every month. I'm doing privates with my jiu-jitsu coach, Johnny. I'm doing privates with Justin Flores, who's Ronda Rousey's old judo close. I'm doing classes with Phil Davis, and I've kind of attacked off season as if I was a grappler in the UFC. So when I do get to punch things, I'm like, oh, cool. It's like a break day. This is an off day. I get to hit pads. I get to spar the best kickboxers in the world because I did that for this camp too. I know just just the fact of the people who I can hang with. I know that I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and this is definitely a fight where I can just be like, hey, look at me. I'm one of the greatest. Now you got to recognize it.
That's awesome. You know, you're a veteran of the game at this point. You've kind of been in the rankings, out of the rankings, back in again. I mean, she's got a pretty big, nice number next to her name. Do you think about, like, where this puts you, where you stand, where you are? Do you worry about those things or think about them at all?
Nah, the rankings are bullshit. Like, the rankings have always disrespected me. Every time one of you guys say, oh, you're going to be in the rankings, you're going to be in the top 10, you're going to be in the top 15 after this fight, doesn't happen. If anything, if I fight someone who has a number by their name, they don't have a number by their name after I beat them. So I'm not expecting much from the rankings, but what's undeniable is my resume. And if I can get some more finishes under my belt, if I could get some more TKOs, some more just like statement-making things, the fight Zhao and Yan had a couple weeks ago, that was really motivating too, because that was another one of those fights. It was super competitive. It could have gone either way, and now she's starching girls, and a lot of what she did in that fight are things that I worked on in my camp. So I really feel like I'm making the right moves. I feel like I've been right there, but I just needed a little extra push in certain areas, and hopefully it all comes to fruition on Mackenzie Dern's face.
Last thing for me, I guess, ideal world, is it, striking clinic, you go out there and just Muay Thai destruction? Or, like, is there part of you like, I kind of want this to hit the ground just for a minute to show that, like, I can hang down there?
Dude, it'd be so dope to just sub the shit out of her. Like, I don't feel like it's like totally impossible, but I do know that I can't be silly. I have to play it safe. I have to just keep it in the world where I'm most comfortable, punching her, kicking her, draining her gas tank. But man, if it's there, I'm not going to run away from it. I still, to this day, I still regret not jumping on top of Claudia Gadelha when I dropped her. And maybe then that was a horrible idea, but now totally could have jumped on her ass. So I just feel confident wherever the fight goes. But yeah, if I could just get a flying knee knockout, wobble her a bit, then jump on the rear naked, I might take the sub before the TKO.
Hey, Angela. Is it kind of weird that your last two opponents are fighting each other 2 fights underneath you?
A little bit. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's weird, but it's also kind of cool because I think before I had this wall up where I was just like, fuck everyone else in my weight class. But, once I started training outside of a big gym, I was like, it's actually helpful to train with girls in my weight class. And yeah, maybe they get a little intel, but it's helping me become a much better fighter. So I reached out to Lupi after we fought. I reached out to Dakota after we fought. She actually came through to camp and put me in a bunch of arm bars and helped me work on my escapes. And that was like a horrible experience for me. But, the next generation of strawweights is coming through, and they're really good at a lot of stuff. They're not just good at one thing. So I think it's going to be a hell of a fight between the two of them. And I don't know, maybe it makes sense now that I'm main event, the fact that these two fought me and now they're fighting each other, and then there's a whole storyline there. I don't know. Maybe one of them would come up into the cage after I win, or I don't know. But no, I think it's cool, and I think if anything, it's a win-win for me because whoever wins, I'm going to look better with, for beating them.
Speaking of your division, just got announced Whaley's fighting Amanda Lemos. I just wanted to know, like, your quick thoughts on that and who you got.
Man, fuck. Y'all know how I feel about Lemos, but she has that one hitter quitter. She likes to save up her energy and put everything into one hit, and she'll do that maybe 3 times around. I think her fight with Marina was the most impressive because she showed she's got ground too. Personally, I felt like I out-grappled her in our fight, and she didn't want to go to the ground with me after she jumped on top of me. So I almost Claudia Gadelha her or whatever she was gonna do, but. Yeah, Whaley, I just feel like has better control of her energy, better energy management. She's very technical, and as long as she doesn't get rocked like she did in the Rose fight, I think she can work her way to a finish or a decision.
And then finally, any update on the Barney Hill documentary? Are you going to get in that?
No, they have ghosted me. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Keeping my dad, waiting to see if they're gonna hit him up or anything. But it's really my dad's story. He's my grandfather's son. He almost went on the trip with them when they got abducted. So I always thought it would be cool for one of these people who like to talk about the Barney Hill abduction to hit him up and get his perspective on it, because he was a teenager when it happened. Now he's about he's is he 80 yet? Oh my God, he's getting up there.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't they want to speak with him?
Why wouldn't they? You tell me.
I
The truth is out there.
Good point. Good point.
Man, you've always
Hey,
thanks for taking the time. You've always been driven, self-motivated, but does it give you just like an extra pep in your step that the UFC got behind you guys and said, okay, that's the fight we're gonna make the main event?
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it has to do with Mackenzie's Instagram followers, the IG count. But aside from that, they know it's going to be a banger of a fight. They know it's going to be exciting. They know people are going to tune in to see what happens, and it's one of those pivotal fights in the strawweight division. Despite what my ranking is, everyone knows I could win any fight at any time against anyone who's in the top 10. So this is one of those moments. And if anything, Mick giving me that call and trusting me to seal the show and put on a stellar performance just puts a little extra wind in my sails for sure. I'm going there. I feel special. I feel like they're happy that I'm here. And I think a lot of times, especially after a loss or two, you can feel like no one wants to see you fight. You can feel like, a piece of crap. But I won 2. I'm on a 2-fight win streak, gonna make it 3, and I think this is an awesome stage to do it on.
How excited were you when they said, okay, it's gonna go from 3 to 5, and you're like, oh, I can do 5, no problem. I did that with Michelle Watterson. It's not
Yeah.
There's nothing you guys can throw at me that would be a surprise at this point, right?
That was part of my stipulation. I'm like, I might not do it if it's 3, I might say no. But right before I told Mick yes, I was like, is it 5? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Let's fucking do it. So yeah, I'm happy with 5. I have cardio for days. That's the one thing that people know about me, is that if it went 10 rounds, I'm still bouncing on my toes at the end of that. So I'm good to go.
Excellent. Well, can't wait to see it, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hi, Angela. From an outsider looking in, your support system seems to be very palpitating. How has it shaped you as a woman and as a professional fighter?
Palpitating, is that a good thing?
A really good thing.
Okay.
It's heartwarming. It's moving. Even to take a look at your Instagram, it seems as though we don't see enough to know exactly how much you're loved behind the scene.
Aw.
So once again, your support system, how has it shaped you as a woman and as a professional fighter?
Man, I really try to put out the energy that I want to get back. And that's anyone. That's someone who doesn't know who I am, someone who's never going to see me again. And I feel like that's worked out for me in general. And when people put on this persona of being an asshole, I don't know how they can live with themselves, because, it's a lonely world. It's a sad world. And if anything, I have had very palpitating support throughout my career. I probably used that wrong. Every coach that I've had, every training partner that I've had, they've always known that I had that little something. And if anything, it was just them convincing me that I had it. Like when I started Muay Thai, I was doing it for fun. And my coach had to convince me that I was actually beating people up and I should try to do it for real. And every time I get a little further with all the strides that I've made in grappling, my coaches are convincing me, hey, you're doing really good. Like, you are out grappling people you shouldn't be able to. And, it's really nice to have that support. It's really nice to have like that family behind me. Right now I'm kind of on my own gym wise, but I have maybe 5 or 6 different gyms that I go to a lot in San Diego, and they're all 100% behind me. We have a strong women's team too out there. We're all from different gyms, but we meet up and we spar hard and we share information and we help each other out. And it's really been invaluable during my career. And I think at every point of my career, I had something like that. When I first started in Muay Thai, when I moved to North Carolina for a bit, when I first got to Alliance MMA, and then when I left and started doing my own thing, I always had those brothers and sisters that see me sweating every day, and they're just like, yeah, you deserve it. You deserve to get whatever you get because you've been working your ass off to get it. So I don't know. I think if anything, when I retire, I hope that people will be able to look at my career and they'll be able to say, no matter what, no matter how much shit you have to go through, hard work pays off. And that's what I've just stuck to every day.
Thank you, and you did use the word correctly.
Yay! I'm using it all week now. Good. Thanks, guys.